So Ultron and I kind of parted ways a few days ago over a disagreement about something or other. I'm not entirely sure, it's not important. Either way, since then I've got myself a hobby and I'm learning all kinds of cool magic stuff. How am I doing, Teach? Sweet. But you know, as cool as it is to learn magic from a red alien lizard out in space, I do think I might want to get some extra lessons from a different source. No offense, Krugar. What to do? Oh, I know. I can just magic over my copy of Doctor Strange from my place back on Earth and just do whatever those guys are doing. The next best thing if you don't happen to have a copy of the Book of the Vishanti on you.
Yeah, you really should have stolen the whole book because the warnings come after the spells.
On second thought, maybe I should actually rewatch the whole thing before trying any of this stuff. I haven't exactly seen this thing in a while after all. Who knows, maybe it's still as mind-blowing as it was when I first saw it in the theaters.
Oh, it's funny.
Yeah, well, f it. This is Doctor Strange.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
After brilliant but arrogant neurosurgeon Dr. Stephen Strange is heavily injured in a car accident, he begins seeking out a wide variety of experimental, aka more costly, treatments to restore the use of his hands. After this search leads him to the mystical Kamar-Taj, Stephen begins learning the practices of the mystic arts under the tutelage of the mysterious Ancient One. However, his training is quickly put to the test after a former protege of the Ancient One, Caecilius, begins making moves to bring a powerful extra-dimensional being known as Dormammu to Earth. With humanity's fate in the balance, Strange must team up with the other sorcerers, master his powers, and save the world before it's too late. Honestly, after rewatching this thing, I thought it was the textbook definition of an overall okay movie. Story-wise, this thing's extremely formulaic, and when you really boil it down, it's nothing we haven't already seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe before. Our protagonist starts off arrogant and learns humility over time. He gets into a tragic accident, fights a mostly ignored / underdeveloped villain who's way more powerful than he is. We do get some good scenes where we get to explore the characters a little bit, where the actors get a chance to show off some depth and emotion in whomever they're playing, but overall, this movie plays things incredibly safe. If you went into the theater or walked out of a store or something with a copy of this movie in hand, expecting to see all the trippy visuals, crazy dialogue, and downright bizarre scenarios the comics had to offer, then prepare to be slightly disappointed. While the magic and the mysticism that the plot does allow us to look at is cool to see, it isn't really explored all that much, and by that I mean we really only get a basic set of spells to look at over the course of the movie. There's really only like one crazy comic book like location to be seen, and thanks to phase 1, there had to be an obligatory reference to magic equals science crammed in there because reasons.
The sorcerers of antiquity called the use of this language spells. But if that word offends your modern sensibilities, you can call it a program.
Fucking hell, I hate that shit. Now that's not to say that the movie's all bad or boring or whatever. Like I mentioned earlier, we do get some interesting looking visuals, and the actors do turn in some pretty great performances when they're given the right material to work with. Speaking of, I love how we get to see Benedict Cumberbatch exploring that transition Doctor Strange goes through, going from this dickish, self-absorbed Tony Stark-esque asshole to a way more caring, self-sacrificing Tony Stark-esque superhero by the end of the movie. I also really like seeing how defending himself from an assault on his own life affected him as deeply as it did.
When I became a doctor, I swore an oath to do no harm, and I have just killed a man. I'm not doing that again. I became a doctor to save lives, not take them.
I mean, in pretty much every other Marvel movie, we see superheroes murder their way across the screen with zero f***s given, even when they probably should sometimes.
All right, I'm gonna give you a chance to escape. Put down your weapons. Tie yourselves to those chairs. I'll let you live.
Wait, wasn't this guy whining about wanting to protect people in his first movie?
And now that I'm trying to protect the people that I put in harm's way, you're gonna walk out?
I mean, I know these guys aren't exactly good guys, but still, come on. Either way, it's a neat change of pace having the main character deal with murdering a guy by just deciding not to murder any more guys. Extremely refreshing change of pace, isn't it, DC?
I didn't kill those men if that's what they think.
Oh, come on, there's no way that guy lived. Meanwhile, Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One had a lot of great moments, especially with Benedict Cumberbatch, and she has a great presence on screen. Sure, she never really seems to be able to raise her voice at all, but she does pack a ton of emotion and humor when need be into every line. There's this one moment in particular when the Ancient One and Doctor Strange are talking while they're in their astral forms, and it's just so f***ing cool. I can't really talk about it too much because the scene is a little bit of a spoiler, but it's very well acted. I thought the use of slow motion on everything else was pretty cool, and overall it's a great scene. Now, if only they didn't follow it up with a dumb joke.
Stop.
I think this would have been a lot more memorable and would have better set the tone for the final fight of the movie. Now, as great as Strange and the Ancient One are in this movie, I will admit I felt a little underwhelmed by pretty much everybody else in the supporting cast. Again, that's not to say that they were bad in the movie, but I just felt like the script didn't really give them a lot to work with. Chiwetel Ejiofor's Mordo is cool and all as Strange's friend slash mentor, and I totally get what they were going for as far as like showing Mordo as this conflicted character, but his whole arc to the dark side kind of feels underexplored and rushed.
We broke our rules. The bill comes due, always.
Seriously, if he had such a huge problem with Strange using the eye, why wouldn't he just take it back at the Sanctum, or at least explain what all bad stuff could happen after using the eye to literally save everybody from the Dark Dimension? Then there's Rachel McAdams as Christine Palmer, who's supposed to be the night nurse, I guess? Either way, she didn't really bring anything to the movie, instead just kind of being stuck in this useless girlfriend role Marvel used in a few of their previous movies, and that's a shame, because we all know Rachel McAdams can act.
I'm sick. Boo, you whore.
What? I think it's a good movie. I'll own it. Plus, her being night nurse ruins Rosario Dawson's night nurse type role in the TV shows, and that's no fun for anybody. As far as the villain goes, I thought Caecilius kind of fell into the same one-note villain trap most of the other MCU villains got stuck in, and that's really disappointing too, because his character also has a pretty tragic backstory.
When he first came to us, he lost everyone he ever loved. He was a grieving, broken man searching for answers in the mystic arts.
Seriously, if the movie took time to flesh out that backstory a little bit, maybe even used it to kind of further the parallels between him and Doctor Strange, I think Caecilius could have been one of the more interesting villains in the MCU movies. Oh well, I guess Scott Derrickson was more interested in cramming in a couple weird jokes every once in a while. Seriously, the humor in this movie's a little distracting at times. Like, there's a decent number of times when something serious and or somber happens, but the movie tosses in some kind of random quick joke or visual gag or something like that. It's just weird and awkward. I mean, we're watching Steven fight for his life here. I don't want to watch his magic cloak hold him in place while he's flailing his arms around. Wait a minute, now I know where Thor Ragnarok got its comedic timing.
The fall of Asgard. The great prophecy.
Hang on.
It all makes sense now. Hashtag it's all connected. Seriously though, for all the times when the humor doesn't work, there are at least 2 times when it does, so I guess everything kind of balances out. Now, as far as the action goes, I gotta admit I was a little disappointed in that too. I mean, yeah, we got a lot of magic tossed in to try to mix things up and keep it fresh, which I really enjoyed, but the fact that the fighting still essentially boiled down to a couple of guys punching each other just feels boring and lazy, considering what all everybody involved with the movie had to work with. That having been said, we do get a lot of cool moments that elevate what could have been these very cookie cutter moments, like the fight towards the end of the movie between Strange's team and the followers of Dormammu, or even when Strange meets Dormammu himself. I think it's great actually being able to see a group of heroes taking out the bad guys in clever and unique ways, and that final battle between Strange and Dormammu was fantastic. Not only does it have great visuals, not only is it well acted, by the same guy no less, but it also gives us a great fresh take on the idea of a fight in a superhero movie. Looking back, I almost wish we got to see more fight scenes like this one. Like, I wish we got to see more scenes of Strange outsmarting whoever he's fighting rather than just punching him. Speaking of, isn't that supposed to hurt his hands since they're all messed up or something? Now, it goes without saying, but the special effects in the movie are amazing. I love the trippy visuals, all the colors, the weird looking objects, they're all amazing, and I wanted to see more of them. And if you managed to see this movie in IMAX, or hell, even on Blu-ray, then I think you'll agree with me when I say it just all looked phenomenal. Honestly, I think before movies like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and Thor Ragnarok came out, this one was probably the most beautiful slash visually interesting movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Hell, in some regards it still is. Now, having said all that, I gotta point out that these scenes don't really last all that long, and most of the time we're just stuck on Earth. I am a little annoyed that the crazy looking scenes only kind of popped up sparingly, but at the same time, I guess just jumping straight into all the weird looking magic and all the crazy stuff from the comics probably would have thrown a lot of people off. Either way, it gets me excited thinking about how we're gonna see more of this weird stuff in Doctor Strange 2, so good job, I guess. So all in all, that's Doctor Strange. It is a little underwhelming in some parts, like some parts of the acting and the humor, but the overall movie is still a fun movie. The actors give some pretty decent performances, regardless of the material they're working with. The visuals and the special effects are amazing, and it at least opens up a ton of possibilities for this bigger and weirder side of the MCU moving forward. If you're going into this movie expecting Doctor Strange to shout out weird stuff or fight against the physical embodiment of eternity, then I honestly think you're going to be disappointed with this one, but like I said, it's a fun movie. But anyways guys, that's my take on Doctor Strange. If you guys agreed with anything I said in this video, or if you have your own thoughts you want to throw out there, then go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I will see you all next time. I just checked 50 different timelines, and that was the best review I got for Doctor Strange? Holy f***. Good thing nobody else was able to see that shit. Yeah, well. Come on, Krugar, let's go train some more. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, then go ahead and click that like button, and if you're new, maybe consider clicking that subscribe button too. I've also got links to my Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and Patreon in the description. You should probably check those out too. And if you want to see more of my content, then you can click the link to my last video. It's right there in the middle of your screen. Alright, and I will see you all next time.